Introduce yourself.
My name is Josey. I'm from the east side of Atlanta, and I am 24. Yeah, 24.
East side of Atlanta. What hospital were you born at?
I was born at Northside.
Mm. So how does a East Side Southern darling end up at Tri Cities?
Um, a lot of illegal things.
Oh wow. So you,
Maybe I shouldn't do
so
that.
you, so you've been a criminal your whole life?
I've not been a criminal my whole life. It's just, when you have a very dedicated parent and you also got family in Fulton, you could use their address.
Oh, we all did that. That's not criminal. That's strategy.
What's my address?
I said that's not criminal. That's strategy.
That's just, yeah.
So why Tri Cities?
Because it's like a very beautiful school. And all my friends that I was like performing with, I was in a performance group by the name of Youth Ensemble of Atlanta. And everybody went to Tri Cities and I wanted to go too. I felt so left out. So I begged my mama and then I auditioned.
So I knew the group you was in. I didn't know that's why you went to Tri Cities. But that kind of goes into one of my other questions. You have very dedicated parents. You come from a family of artists. You're the only singer. Everybody else is more visual art, painters and such, right? Do you feel like being an artist is something you chose or was it chosen for you?
How you know all this?
I do my research.
Um, do I feel like it was chose for me? No, I chose it. Um, it kind of just it fell into my lap. It was what I was supposed to do, but like everybody was already creative, so it just kind of like it was the household that I lived in. It wasn't really more so of anything that like, oh, you should do arts. Like my mom, who she worked in the music industry as well. Like she didn't even want me to be in the music industry. She didn't want me to be like born into it. So she had left her job at So and got a graphic designing career.
I'm the same way. I don't want my son anywhere near this.
Yeah,
And I love it.
yeah,
I just don't want you loving it teaches you how many people don't love it
yeah.
and how many people use it as a hustle, how many people use what people love as a way to get over on them. So you kind of want your kids to stay away from it.
Yeah. But then it's such a beautiful craft and a beautiful career that it's like, if I teach my child right, the do's and the don'ts and the things that they should and shouldn't do, then if this is the career that they want to pursue, then they'll know what and what not to do and like how to come across situations that are scary, when they get to it. So it's like it's a teeter-tottering type of thing. It's like, do you want your child to flourish in something that you think is beautiful, but then, you've already seen the crazy sides of it. So it's like, I don't know, it's really up to parent.
The most beautiful things have a dark side.
Indeed.
Everything, right?
Everything. Yeah.
But again, you're the only singer, and you're a vocalist. You're not just a singer. I think a vocalist is a higher echelon of singers,
Thank
right?
you.
Do you feel like being a vocalist is like pure God-given talent, or is it training? Like, how much you think is either or?
I think it's half and half. I think some of the things that I do now, I like, I was, trained to do, but you also have to have like a platform to like jump off of. I feel like, dang, this is a good question. It's like, cause I am a humble person. So it's like, I want to be like, yeah,
Talk your shit.
no, I think God gave me a really special talent. I will say, I am very blessed that God gave me a special talent. But um, it's even crazier when like I practice a run like over and over and over, and then it's like, oh dang, if I get it this way, then like I know it's gonna be like even better. So I believe that like yeah, you can have talent, but you also have to like train it and you have to hone in on it, or it's just gonna be, you know, dang, I don't want to answer this in the wrong way, but
You don't have to be politically correct. I'm asking these questions for a reason.
okay. Yeah, you have to be talented and you have to be trained at the same time.
Like, if you take me 9 months to follow you, shadow you, learn under you, learn under your teachers, I still can't sing like you, right? So it has to be a talent there. But I think talent, we're in an era full of talent with no discipline. I think being a vocalist or being a true artist takes discipline more than it takes talent, because talent is everywhere. So
Yeah.
why is it that you think your discipline to be a vocalist is more of a priority for you than just being an artist? Because, you have everything else. You could lean more on other things.
Yeah. I think it matters more when you do your due diligence of making it a bigger thing for yourself. Like, I could sit on my voice, yeah, but I know that this is the only thing that I have. And I know that I literally went to Beyonce's concert last night. Like, what she was doing is the exact same thing, and even bigger that I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, the dreams that I have require for me to not just be, oh, I have talent. Like, it requires me to train constantly and, work out, even though I don't like to. But it requires me to work out. It requires me to, like, take vocal lessons. It requires me to, take artist development. It requires me to do speech
do the work.
training and whatnot. What you say?
It requires you to do the work.
It requires you to do the work, yeah. And the dreams are just too big for me to sit idle.
And I think, speaking of Beyonce, I think Beyonce gets such a bad rap from people who don't want to give her credit for being a vocalist, because she does so much work that people don't want to do that they have to find a way to take away from it.
You gotta diminish her or humble her in some sort of way, when, like, nah, she did everything that she was supposed to do and is still doing everything that she's supposed to do. Like, she's literally a worker. She is a worker to her craft. She's humble. It don't look like she's afraid to take a note from somebody. I feel like when she was, like, in her prime, like not in her prime, like when she was younger, like, I feel like when she was younger, I feel like she would be okay with taking a note. Like, that's how good she is now. Like, I see her sitting down with whoever her OGs were, and just listening to them and, like, taking the notes and taking the critiques and all that, and, like, so she can just be a better person, so a better singer, a better performer. Yeah, you can't take that away from somebody. You can't take someone's, will to accomplish their dreams. And it's, like, right there. Like, that stadium was full.
And to echo that, right? I've met Beyonce. I don't have a relationship with Beyonce, right?
That's a flex.
But I guess. But I think having a relationship with her would be a flex.
Yeah.
Just meeting her, like, I could have just paid for a meet and greet. But I look at certain things in how willing an artist is, not only to take criticism, but to take influence. So I look at someone like Beyonce, and you look at, certain records and certain periods of her career. Like, you look at the Gold Member era. What album is that? That's that second album?
Oh, that's the
That's
one where
B-Day.
you gotta work it out.
Yeah.
Brother gotta work it
So
out.
then I look at, she's taking influence. You have to be brave as an artist to take influences, right?
Being brave.
So, like, I look at Beyonce's that period of her Tina Turner period. Then I look at a song like Take Me Higher. Like, you have to be willing to live in your influence and still do the work. And a lot of people shy from that. Why do you think that is? I saw your face change when I referenced your song.
Yeah. Yes. The questions are really good, I will say. They are questions that I have not been asked before.
I got to compete with Shawn's level of photography.
Yes. I think people are just scared. There's none to it, Sometimes it's harder to.
That's crazy.
This is a great interview. I think people are scared.
You rat bastard. So, People are scared, right?
Yes, nervous.
And this is a question I have for later, but this has to flow, right? What scares you? What scares you, one, as an artist, and then what scares you as a woman?
As an artist, the biggest thing that scares me is that people will not understand my music, or like they'll not see it in the way that, like, oh, I be thinking my music rocks. Like, I be in the studio, oh my gosh, I be feeling like I'm making groundbreaking hits, like just like any other
But you are.
artist. Thank you so much.
I'm not just saying that. We can pull your credit sheet.
Thank you. But it's just, once it gets to the masses, that's the music is up to whoever's listening to it, and however they interpret it is however they interpret it. And I think I'm just more so afraid that it won't be taken serious enough for them to want to listen to the other bodies of work that I have, or I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, it kind of just like, it scares me a lot to put my art out there and for somebody to feel that it wasn't as good as I thought it was.
That's interesting because I feel like artists always have that. Like, I feel like Beyonce still feels that way. I feel like Drake feels that way. I feel like all artists kind of go through that. The great artists have enough humility to not think that everything they do is gonna be like chosen by everybody.
Yeah.
But then I listened to records like Behave, and that made me want to listen to your earlier stuff. So I don't, as much as I can tell you that your music resonates, I think there's always going to be a healthy fear there that you need to keep doing better music. Once that fear is gone, you're going to start making mediocre music. So I don't think that's something you should necessarily shy away from.
What's the saying? The saying is, once the nerves go away, then you should find another.
You should find something else.
Yeah.
I apply that to everything. I play sports. I apply that to interviews. Like, there's a certain part of, with all the craziness that goes on during these shoots, I find a window to just disappear, because there's still a nervousness with me before we do these interviews, and I'm not even on camera.
Yeah.
You go on stage, you got 30 cameras at you. So when you start feeling nervous, you probably whack. So don't worry about it. But question. Well, I have 3 questions that lead to one question.
Okay, I'm ready.
First question. How do you define passion?
How do I define passion? I define passion by how it makes you feel, or like what it does to your body.
Okay. How do you define purpose?
I define purpose by the thoughts that you get when you think about it.
And how do you define love?
I define love by, again, how it makes me feel.
Which one pulls you the most?
All of them.
That's fair. Do you think you find purpose or purpose finds you?
Purpose definitely finds you.
Explain.
I'm a big, big believer in like divine timing. And I'm so impatient. Like, there have been days where it's like, gee golly, I just wish somebody would just stumble on the music and put it on Twitter and be like, everybody go follow her and listen to her project, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. And it just blows up overnight. Oh my gosh, I am very impatient, but I feel like my purpose in a way is learning patience and learning that it takes time. And I don't want to be a microwavable artist. I want this situation, all of the music, because every single song has happened Oh my gosh, every single song comes from an experience. I don't want that to just go to waste. I don't want the things that I've experienced in life and turned into music to just go to waste. So I feel like my purpose is patience. So I hope that answered it, but
And you've done that. Like, you've had the viral moment. You had Rhythm of Olay, which had 1.4 million views on YouTube. Does that feel better or worse because it's not the body of work that you want to do the 1.4?
well, it's it's crazy. I was really young, and I don't think I even I wasn't able to like
Process.
process it. And it was just a really beautiful opportunity that happened for me. And I was so young, I couldn't see how beautiful of a situation I was in. And so now it's like, dang, why don't Ole come back and let me write another song for him?
But that's gonna happen.
By the grace of God.
I read somewhere that when you started illustrations, your your number one question to yourself is, how do I feel when I hear my music? So now you're more mature, almost 4 years ago. How do you feel when you hear your music now?
I feel like I feel really changed. I feel empathetic for who I was. You know, I take in the situations that happened around illustrations. I look at, you know, everything that I was going through at that moment, and I honor it. My music makes me feel really therapeutic. It is my therapy. It calms me. And I look back at it and I'll be like, dang, girl, you was going through some stuff, but you brought yourself out. My music heals me. So that's how it makes me feel. Healed.
Empathy. Empathy is a common theme for you. I've seen it in places. I heard it in your music. Why is empathy so important for you? Why is being an empath so important to you?
You're always going to remember how you felt. Like, and you're always going to remember how someone made you feel. You're always going to remember, like, if somebody, like, cursed you out, like, I feel tried. Or there's this one time I was at the Ulta beauty store, and I'm not really a passive person, but, like, I've been known to hold my tongue a lot. This woman was
That
trying to
shocked
be,
me.
oh my gosh, yes. This woman was trying to, like, okay, so the person at the store, I was trying to find this specific like item, and it was really taking me a long time. And this woman was like circling around the block at Ulta, and she had already had someone helping her. So I was like, I didn't know who this lady is. She had already had somebody, and when she had someone, all of the workers were like working with somebody. So I was trying to find it by myself. By that time, somebody actually came to me. She literally walks over to me and the worker. She was like, I know you're working with her, but can you like come help me and this, that, and third? I said,
Oh, wow.
hold on. He was actually helping me right now. Is it possible that you can wait a couple minutes? You know, she's like, no, it's only gonna take me a couple seconds. I was like, I'm so sorry, but like, he was helping me. And then she just went off and this, that, and the third. And I was like, I'm not about to fight you at an Ulta beauty store. But, you know, I put my buggy down and my basket down. And I was, you know, like,
Just in case.
just in case. And yeah, she's like, I'm not about to fight you, this, that, and the third. I was like, well, you know, we're here.
We're going to figure it out.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, so I wasn't passive in that moment.
So,
So basically, I remember how she made me feel. I said all that to say, I remember how she made me feel, and I remember how strong I felt about not being passive. So empathy is like, it's real big with me. Like I remember how I always have this vision of my grandfather's hand. Like I just remember touching it. Remember how like holding his hand for like last couple. I don't think that was the last time I held his hand, and then like, yeah, but yeah, I remember that feeling. So yeah, empathy is big because I'm not the best communicator. So like verbal situations aren't the best for me, but like
So your action, more action then.
more actions. I want to see, what's going to happen. I want to feel how it's going to change me. Like I want to feel changed, or I hope I'm saying the right things. But
It's no such thing as the wrong thing.
yeah.
I think a common thread I've seen from people who consistently display empathy for different people is you either want one or two things. You know how it feels to either not be heard or not be understood. And you don't want other people to feel that way. So you go above and beyond to make sure other people have at least you to say, that person understood me, that person listened to me, that person tried to help me. But that normally comes from a place of pain. And so does art. Do you feel like your art is better because you're an empath?
I believe so. I think my words are more colorful. I think the emotion that I want to display, and the way that I sing things, like I think it helps it like times 10. I feel like if I wasn't a person who was so sensitive and couldn't cry on the spot, like if I really wasn't that girl, like I don't think it would be the same songs. I don't think it would be the same.
You would care less.
Yeah.
You're an artist and you're sensitive about your shit. Shout out to Erykah Badu. So, in that vein, being an artist, being a black woman, being young, people always telling you don't know enough yet or you haven't seen enough yet, but you have lived so much life just from what I've seen, right? What is a critique that you've been given that hurt you but helped you?
What's a critique that I've been given that hurt me but helped me?
As an artist or as a person?
As a person, speak up for yourself. As an artist, speak up for yourself. It hurt me because I don't make nobody mad. Like
You don't want to get the labels.
I'm I'm like, let's rough them up. But I'm not the kind of person or girl that, like, I don't want anybody to be like, dang, after speaking with Jalen, I did not have a fun time. I did not have a good time. But that's life. I can't make everybody happy. So I'm learning to not people please. I was that one too. That one hurt me. Yeah. Don't be a people pleaser.
You
I
can't.
was told that I looked like a people pleaser.
I don't know about that, but
Not look, but like I'm not a people pleaser, but I was told like
you're
stop being.
very accommodating. You're very accommodating. But just something to take with you, you can't make unhappy people happy. Unhappy people are more committed to being unhappy than you're committed to being happy. It takes more energy,
Yeah.
right? Let's get into the music a little bit more. So I have my answers to these questions, but I want to see what your answers are to these questions.
Okay.
What is the most unique song on Southern Delicacy?
What's the most unique song on Southern Delicacy? I think it's Man in Your Bed.
What does it? What is the most important song on the project?
The most important song is Willie's Interlude.
Why?
It's about my late grandfather, and the EP is dedicated to him.
So my most important, we have the same most unique record. My most important is Behave. I think important to you would be the song that you choose. I think the most important as far as
Story.
the story and the artistry, like if I was gonna tell somebody to go to a song that I believed in music, I would play that one. Because that gives all the elements. It has the vulnerability, but it also has the strength. It has the musicality, but it's also not overly produced. Why do you think Man in Your Bed is the most unique?
'Cause it's the song that gives me the opportunity to cross over more or do what I really want to do more. Of course, R&B is the lane that I love and that I am in, but Man in Your Bed gives a glimpse to what's next.
I didn't expect that. I would say that's Take Me Higher.
Yeah, that too.
But I also know that, like, I always say great artists either create a lane or they shine light on a lane, right? I don't know if you classify yourself as this, but the genre I kept seeing you pop up as in my research was pop soul. It's not a lot of pop soul artists. It's two really big pop soul artists, and then the rest are like, you got to be a music junkie to know who they are. Do you know which two I'm talking about?
No.
So the two that popped up, and you was like seventh on the list, to be honest. Adele and John Legend. I wouldn't consider John Legend pop soul.
I know. Yes, yes, yeah. No, 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 no. I see why. His older music, yes.
Get Lifted?
Yes. I played a song earlier, number one with him and Kanye.
That's kind of. So I lived in Chicago when Get Lifted came out, right? To me, John Legend was the resurgence of R&B. So I feel like it's revisionist history now to call it pop soul, because that whole album is produced by Kanye. That whole album is full of soul samples. The only thing that makes it pop to me is the fact that it was big. He don't have a record like Take Me Higher on that album. He has them in some of his later projects. But I wouldn't put him in that lane. But you're comfortable being put in that lane.
I want a genre bend. So I'm comfortable in whatever lane God sees fit. I feel like the type of music that I want to create, I don't know what lane it'll be in. If I could create my own, so be it.
I know one woman artist that had her own, that still technically has her own lane.
Cool.
Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
People don't really think about it, but Mary J. Blige, when they say Mary J. Blige, they say she's the queen of what?
R&B? No, hip hop.
Hip hop and R&B soul.
Hip hop.
That's not a genre. Nobody else lives in that lane but her.
As a woman?
Period. Like, if you check every album credit, there's nobody else that lives in that lane but her. Because Puff branded that as a new genre for her. There's nobody else in that lane. Now, some people live in the R&B lane.
Some people live in the. I see what you're saying.
But
I see what you're saying.
she's the queen of hip hop and R&B soul.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So now you gotta name your lane. Now we're gonna go back a little bit.
Bless you.
We good? Now we're gonna go back a little bit. This might be one of the last music questions, and then we're gonna get into some of the shit. Death of a Black Girl. That's your first single. Why that single? Because you could have you have all these different influences. You have, like, you did Broadway, you like pop music, you like soul music, you like Nina Simone, you like all of this array of different palettes. Why choose a socially conscious palette as your introduction to the world?
So, all of my songs are experiences. All of my songs have happened. And Death of a Black Girl was at a time where, Death of a Black Girl was at a time where I was getting off of Broadway. I was young and in love with this guy, and he left me for his ex. And I was just really, really mad, and just distraught. But I had to sit on it for a while, and then why Death of a Black Girl? And it's so socially like, that's just the place I was in. And that is the place. That's where my music was. Like there's no like far-fetched answer. Like that's really
That's just where
where
you were.
that's really where I was.
Now let me tell. So Death of a Black Girl is what, 2019?
Yeah.
Then you have two singles in 2020, which is one pre-pandemic, one after the
Yeah.
pandemic. But I look at Death of a Black Girl as like, it almost feels like a flashback to another time in like another universe, right? Because it's where you were, but it's also about, how black women have been, demeaned or put down and marginalized for the way they look, the way they act, the way they talk, the way they carry themselves. But now y'all are this picture of what beauty is. Most of the women going to get plastic surgery want to look like you, from the hair down. Is it better or worse now that now you're the picture of beauty versus when you wasn't?
I think it's still wild out here.
Explain.
I think it's still wild out here. Me being 24 right now, I've been in 3 relationships. 2. No, I've only been in 2 relationships. I'm not about to count the first one because I was in college, and
They don't count.
that don't count. He ain't even really asked me to be his girlfriend.
I got bad news for you. Next probably 2 is not even gonna. It's not gonna be a conversation. Y'all just gonna kind of end up there.
Yeah. I've still felt, and maybe this is just like a me thing, but I've still felt like I wasn't taken as serious as a woman, like regardless of race or how I look or this, that, and the third. I still didn't feel loved. I feel like they were only wanting me for how I looked or what I could do or the career that I was in. And it's like
It's like a
it's
fetish.
like you can't win for losing. It's like there's always going to be an issue, and there's always going to be something that's wrong. And instead of like us just teaching, our young men or instead of just like teaching somebody how to like just treat a person right, it's just regardless of which coin is flipped, it's just there's something that's going to be wrong. But there's beautiful people and beautiful partners out there, and there are beautiful individuals who know how to treat people right, who know how to treat women right, who know how to treat men right. It's just there's just always going to be an issue. So when I wrote Death of a Black Girl, at that point in time, I didn't feel like I was beautiful. I didn't feel like I was worthy of love. So my issue was that, and how I was being let down for some other woman. And now my issue is not being looked at as, oh, I've heard, I need me a strong woman. I need me this, that, and the third. I've heard, I've heard, I've heard y'all looks, and it's crazy because I didn't even think, like, it's crazy. Like when I was younger, I definitely like did not see. I don't even want to say that out loud. Like I didn't really think that I was pretty as a young child. But now it's like, geez Louise, now I'm
I'm tired of being called pretty.
No, I love being called pretty now. It makes me feel really good. Like I can validate myself. I can look in the mirror. I can call myself pretty. Now I can. But it's just wild when I'm in a relationship and now it's just like, maybe I should go find me a girl that, it don't really matter about looks and this, that, and the third. It's like, what can you bring to the table? And I'm like, I'm trying the best I can. It's just always going to be an issue.
Do you think that's a woman problem or a male problem or a black people problem, or are we just at a place as a society where people don't have the right values?
We're at a place in society where people don't have the right values. I think, oh my gosh, if we could just all take a deep breath and like look at the table of like love. What is on this table of love? What matters more in this situation? Okay, you and me both are 24. I need to get my career off the ground. You need to get your career off the ground. Let's both be each other's peace. Let's figure out a way. I fucked up in the beginning. You fucked up in the beginning. If we can apologize and get past it, great. If we can't, there has to be a way to like calmly move away. You know, there's so much manipulation out there. There's so much, lying and this, that, and the third. It's just like, how do you, nobody knows how to communicate these days, and I'm not the best communicator, so I try to show it through action, and sometimes that's not enough. Maybe it's me.
I don't
Maybe
think
it's
so.
me.
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
I also think there's something to being a good person versus being the right person.
Yeah.
And then there's also something to being ready to be loved versus ready to love. Right? I think a lot of times people are more ready to love, but they think they're ready to be loved. We don't deal with our issues. You can't be loved like Jalen, 24, has gotten to a place where she can finally look in the mirror and see that she's pretty, right? That opens a new door for how you can let love in that you couldn't open at 21 because you didn't look at yourself the same way.
Yeah.
So I think it's in this time where we have all this messaging of love yourself and prioritize yourself and, check on your strong friends. We're just in a cliche era and nobody's getting to the root of.
Everybody just need to take a deep breath. Call it a
Everybody
day,
need to
go
turn
to
their
bed.
phones off. That's what it really is.
Oh
Now,
my gosh. Yeah.
the bad news is I'm 35, you're 24. We got the same problems.
Yeah. I mean, basically the same age.
We got the same problems. And I think, like, you have a song where you're talking about, I don't want to be I'm fucking up the bar. But it was to the effect of, I don't want you for your money.
What was it?
I didn't write that note down.
I don't want you for your money.
It was like, I ain't trying to be a gold digger. It's something to that
Oh, pay
effect.
for my drink.
It is pay for your drink. Maybe that's why I can't remember the line. Because it was like, I listened to Pay for My Drink like 45 songs ago. But I think men have an insecurity, especially successful people. I tell people when I started making money, it's the worst year of my life. Right? I feel like when a man finally makes money, it's like when a woman finally realizes she's fine or she's beautiful. Because people told you that, girl, you so fine. And once you believe it, you like, okay, y'all told me I'm fine, so men good men should be my door down, and then you get there and it's not happening that way. As a man, you go make money, people tell you should be a provider, but once you can provide, you realize that you still getting the short end of the stick. So I just think we all are dealing with what we thought the world was versus what it really is.
Yeah.
Sad, but at 35,
So what should the world be?
honest.
Honest?
Yes. I think if we can learn to be honest, we can learn to love each other. But nobody wants to forgive.
Nobody want to hear that.
Nobody want to hear that. And nobody wants to hear you tell them what's wrong with them, even if you're willing to help them work through it. But that's what music is for.
And that's also pride and whatnot.
Yeah. Ego is the enemy.
Yeah. But that is what music is for. People understand music. It is another language.
Yeah. Success or love?
Yes.
Gotta pick one.
Success or love.
Career success, you can be the biggest artist in the world, or you can have the best relationship in the world. You shouldn't have to pick, right?
I should be able to just have both. But I have to pick.
Yes. This is the rapid fire section.
Oh, so I got to really pick.
Yeah.
Success or love.
Let's say wealth or love.
Wealth or love. Does love include my family? Does
Yes.
wealth include my family?
Both.
Okay, well, wealth, because if I got my family, then that means that there's somebody who loves me.
True. It's a good way to spin out of it.
There's gonna be somebody there.
That was great communication right there.
Thank you.
You got out of it.
Thank you so much.
So this is the rapid fire section. So you just gotta choose.
Indeed.
Chasing Summer or Shea Butter Baby?
Shea Butter Baby.
Biggest star on Broadway or the biggest star at the Grammys?
Yeah, biggest star at the Grammys. What?
Writing the biggest song of the year or performing the biggest song of the year?
Performing the biggest song of the year.
Nina Simone or Lauryn Hill?
Nina.
If you had to pick a song to share, would you pick to describe you? Would you pick one of your songs or a song from somebody else?
One of my songs.
Which one?
You Ain't Gotta Worry.
Why?
Cause I would pick that song because it was at a point in my life where I was figuring out who I was, and my mom will always say that, like, you know, well, you just got to get up next day. And I will always remember, like, I got bullied as a child. You know, everybody do. But
6'9".
huh?
Nah. Go ahead.
Okay. Everybody get bullied. But I always remember in the back of my mind her saying, okay, you got to get up for school. Like, regardless of how I felt that day before or how I felt in that morning, I still had to go. And that's my life now. Like, I could tell you about the tears that have fallen down my face. I could write you a essay of how many times I've laid in bed and what song has made me feel, what song I've written about this person or this boy or this girl. Regardless of that, like, I could tell you all of that, but I'm still gonna bust a move the next day and make some shake. So I feel like that is a song that writes it down in ink about me.
You say you still grown?
I'm still what?
Did you say you still grown?
Am I still grown?
I thought
When did I say that?
Maybe I heard that wrong. But this is the last few. I thought you said, but I'm still grown. I'm still gonna make some shake.
No, I'm still gonna wake up the next morning and make some shake.
Do you remember what you defined being grown as?
Do I remember what defined being grown as? Ooh, when my mom allowed me to spend the night at my first boyfriend's house.
So your actual definition was being grown is when you get to a point where you're free enough to create memories. You remember that? That was an interview.
Woo! Yeah.
I did my research, right?
Yeah, yes you did. Yes you did. Yes you did. That as well. But technically,
You created a memory. That's a memory.
that's a memory. That is a memory. When you're free enough to create memories is definitely the definition about being grown. Oh my gosh, when I was free enough to, like, have the car out for 24 hours. Oh my gosh.
What's your favorite memory of 2023?
2023 tour.
Okay.
Being able to like have so many firsts with my best friend, like going across North America.
Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? My mommy. All the women in my family. Them jokers is some fighters.
You know what's my favorite part of your album, your last project?
What?
You say yes, ma'am.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just,
That's the Southern in you, right?
yeah, that's also respect. I feel like if I didn't, I don't know, I get scared of them.
I still say yes, ma'am, to my mom and my grandma. I've never cursed in front of my mom or my grandma. I've never had a drink in front of my mom and my
Me
grandma.
neither.
But I when you start to like an artist, then you want to know who they are.
Yeah.
So I look for very small things to tell you who a person is, right? Another thing that I learned today that kind of echoes that is even when you have a problem, you try to accommodate. That says something about your character. And I think that is the one thing that after this interview, after this year, after this next project, that's the one thing I want you to hold on to. Caring about how you make people feel will take you further than how people feel about you. So keep that. What's a
Thank you.
quote that you live by?
What's a quote that I live by? Oh, your plan B always has to make sure that your plan A works, regardless of where you at in life, regardless of what you're going through or anything. You know, you're thinking like, dang, I quit this, that, and the third. Them dreams were not put in your brain for no reason. Oh my gosh. I do not dream about being on the stage just for me to leave it where it is to just pursue being a writer.
Last question. What's the biggest misconception about Jalen?
The biggest misconception about me is that I'm intimidating.
Barry told me you was mean. No, he did.
He looks so unfazed.
He know I'm full of shit.
No, I'm not mean. I'm such a sweetheart. That is the misconception about Jalen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey y'all, my name is Jalen Josey, and I'm HBUC's Muse of the Month.